This is my Raw review, and I would just say that this was a good show, like a 3 out of 3.5 out of 5, particularly due to the Braun, Seth, and Sammy segments. I would say that it did kind of look like that, you know, Triple H really didn't have like all of the show planned because the thing is, you can say the Rocks and Rhea match makes sense, but why did you put the Stephanie match? Like, aside from like filling time, it doesn't really make sense because she's not gonna get called up right now. She's probably gonna get called up maybe like in the late summer. I don't think she's getting called up right now. I think they're probably gonna build up Jordan Grace, and she's probably gonna take the title of Stephanie sooner than later. Like, I initially didn't like the first segment because Seth was like the heh 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 visionary Seth in that, but like watching the second segment, you kind of get that whatever they did in the first segment was on purpose. Like, Seth was acting like that because in his mind he did nothing wrong. But now, like after the second segment, you can see that Seth realizes that because in his eyes, like Roman and Punk are already bad guys, so he doesn't really have to change anything. But him attacking Sammy, that means you know he is changing himself. Like, he's become due to his obsession of achieving a goal that the future runs through him. Like, he has to turn to the dark side, and I don't think we'll get this visionary Seth anymore from next week. The thing is, what the segment essentially was that he did all the usual visionary tactics, like welcome to Monday Night Rollins and all, but Sammy interrupted him. And Sammy was like that, I I I actually believe that you had a hate against CM Punk and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, but isn't it this like a bloodline? Like, you have your wise man and you have your little dog. Then he did kind of like, he said that if he stares at me, I'll fight him and all. And people like writing in the comments, he did the Jey Uso line. Like, stop it, please. Like, it gets annoying after a while. But like, Seth Seth essentially was threatening him, but in a sweet way. He essentially said that, like, I love you, like, you have been my great friend, and they have established this on TV also. Like, Seth and Sammy have been great friends, and he talked about, that you should either be on my side, or I don't want you to be a target. And Sammy was essentially like, he has till the end of the night, so think it through. So this was a big decision for Sammy. Like, let's go through the things where in I really want to talk about this in larger detail. So let's go through the other things that happened on the show in a fast manner. The Rhea versus Rock match was good. I really like listened to the match because I didn't really see the match. I was really listening to the match, and it was good. Like, even the Stephanie versus Ivy Nile match was good. Like, Ivy Nile looked much better than her match that she had earlier against Lara Valkyria. She really looked good in this with the German suplexes that she was doing. And Stephanie is over. Like, they were like La Primera chants, like people doing the 1, 2, 3, 4 when she was giving the devil's kisses and everything. I really like. She just has that look. She has the nickname. She has the look. She's a great wrestler in the ring. Like, I won't be surprised if like she is there on the main roster quick. It's just that like they're really like shafting SmackDown. Like, you're putting potentially Rox and Julia both on Raw. Like, they're probably Julia is gonna do double duty because she kind of has a Stephanie Wacker feud left. Like, you can do two more matches with Stephanie and Julia, and probably another with Jordan, like Julia putting over Jordan Grace also before she's fully called out. But the thing is that the reaction that she's getting, like even when she was backstage, like the reaction that she was getting is just like they really had a lightning in a bottle. Like I won't be surprised if Stephanie, whenever she shows up to the main roster, like wins a title in quick fashion. I won't be surprised with that. The Rhea versus Rox match was good. Julia caused a disqualification, causing Rhea to win the match. But then Io showed up, and it was essentially that Io paid back the favor. Like Io is so funny; she does that thing. I really like that. Even in backstage, it was like we are equal now. There's no favors left, and Io is showing up to NXT tomorrow. So let's see what happens there with that. I don't think Rhea is gonna show up there. Like first of all, and also like what are the matches that are going to be on Backlash? Like this show can be really long also compared to like the usual 5 match cards, because talking about 5 match cards, like Logan Paul came out, and Logan Paul was essentially like, I have done this, but I've not won a world championship. Him doing the, standard heel stick, like calling out the crowd and everything. Then Jey Uso. So Jey Uso was actually good here. Like he said that, I didn't win this just to like lose to a YouTuber, and I was like, YouTuber, don't call me out like that. And then, he just super kicked Logan Paul. And I do think we're going to get Jay versus Logan at Backlash. The thing with that, and Logan had a good insult. He was like, Jay, like, you better hold that title. Let's hope that you hold that title, longer than you held that Intercontinental Championship. And it kind of made sense also, because Logan, he has won one title, but he held it for like 200 days. Like Jey Uso won the Intercontinental Championship and held it for like 3 weeks. I think what it is missing is, the thing with Raw is that they don't really have any like heels to go up. Like I would have preferred AJ to win the match at Mania and have Jay versus AJ. Like a face Jay versus face AJ would have worked, and I think AJ would have given Jey Uso a much better match than he has had till now in his singles run. But they are choosing to go with Logan. Like they could have put Sammy there also, but okay, Sammy is in a better angle. But the thing is, they really need to figure it out. They either they have to like do the draft quick after Backlash, or like just give Seth the title quick, because they don't have heels that Jay can go against. Like who is the heel? Karen Cross. Like he has had like what, one match which he lost, and they don't really have any like main heels. Like Dom is there, but Dom is Intercontinental Champion. Finn is involved there, and Finn is not at the level that that he will seem like a credible threat. You really don't have Damien Priest anymore on Raw, so you really don't have an option. I just would want that this match should be a spot fest. Just let this match be a spot fest. Don't do this like Logan is doing the wrenching the headlock. Jay is making a comeback. Just let them do a spot fest. That is what Logan is good at, and Jay will probably have a better match with that also. Because this card is kind of looking spooky. Like you have John Cena versus Randy Orton, which is running on nostalgia, and we don't really know if this is gonna be a good match. You're having Gunther versus Pat McAfee, which is probably a squash match. I think probably what is going to happen is Pat McAfee is going to have one or two chances, and then Gunther is going to destroy him. And after the match, when Gunther is about to injure Pat, you're going to have Goldberg show up and shoo off Gunther. And then we're probably going to get Gunther versus Goldberg either at Money in the Bank or at like a Saudi show. And Gunther will end Goldberg's career. I think that's what's going to happen with that. Talking about Gunther and Pat McAfee, like Pat McAfee had a good promo. Like it was a very energetic promo. It's just that he said a lot of things which he didn't need to say. Like it was unnecessarily long. He like did the like f bombs also, which had a reaction, but it was like this is the first time that I think on Netflix anyone has done an f bomb, and it is from Pat McAfee, and it was like not really needed in this segment. Like anyways, like this feud doesn't need that. So and the Becky Lynch segment, I would say they need to work on the verbiage. Like they're giving like like just give them simple verbiage, like give Lyra simple verbiage. I kind of get why she like didn't pause during her promo because the crowd was doing what chants, so to counter that she didn't. But like I have heard her promos in NXT, she kind of had that little like hardness in her voice, like she felt like a baby here a little bit. Like her one line was great, that I already know that I'm a better wrestler than you. But apart from that, it really felt like she didn't stop at all, and like she didn't have those like big like exclamations at the end of sentences which baby faces generally have. So it just felt like she was just saying stuff non-stop, and then Becky retorting back, and it just felt like both were not on the same frequency. Like Becky's promo was good, it just felt like she was also like spiraling, which it kind of makes sense according to the feud, but it's just that the combination of both of them like weirded me out a little bit. Like Becky's justification was that, that why did she team up with the person that I've been fighting since 6 years, like since 2023 I've been up, after Bailey. I wanted to save her, but then she's a loser. She lost again, and the crowd has to improve. Like the crowd, like really pissed me off. They were like, "Yeah, Becky." In the end, they they did do the woo woo chants with Lyra. They did cheer Lyra at the end when she hit those like a running kick through the a running drop kick through the ropes, and Lyra has got some big thighs, man. Like it is confirmed that Becky versus Lyra is happening at Backlash. It's just that I think this feud needed 2 more weeks also. This should probably needed like months, but 2 more weeks to really establish itself. It's just that next week is the go home show, I think. So a go home show for this is happening next week. So I'm not really like excited, but I'm like, this makes sense to happen on Backlash. It's just that I think it needs more spice. I don't know how they do that. They're probably gonna do a pull apart brawl next week, but I don't think that's enough to like add really like spice in this feud. I do think they could have like done like a long storyline, but even like they needed like one extra week for this storyline. I do think what's gonna happen is like Becky is probably gonna win, or Bailey is gonna return and inadvertently gonna cost Lyra the match, or Bailey is gonna return and because of her Lyra is gonna beat Becky. I do think whenever Bailey returns, they will have a triple threat and it will lead to things happening. So so I am excited for the Intercontinental Championship division. And also you had the Judgment Day stuff, like essentially like Finn going that why didn't you inform me, like JD saying that I congratulated Dom and I told him he didn't tell you I'm sorry and all. One thing I don't get is how does, like these are face managers, how do like people like Paul you can get like him having those favors, like Sammy, like will face John Cena and Randy Orton. Like you have established that Paul is an important man in the management. Like he has his connections. Seth, he told that to Sammy. So I've also talked about that. It's just that what does Liv have? Like that Adam Pearce or Dom have, that Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis just agree to their demand. Like that is a logical whole. Apart from that, I think Liv is also like off TV because she's filming in a Hollywood movie. I think that's why they had the tag team title defense on NXT, because she's probably not going to be there for like a month or something. You had AJ Styles there, and Nick Aldis like kind of encouraging him, like there are a list of challengers that they're there that you should face. Dom interrupted him and he was pretty funny, like what are you talking with AJ, finding him a retirement home and all that. I'm a champion, that is why I can miss. But Nick Aldis was like, no, you got to show up twice up to work. I do think probably Dom will face AJ in a feud, and I do think probably Karen Cross is some way gonna get involved in that, and probably that's gonna cause AJ to lose, and then probably the Karen and AJ feud performing. And Karen kind of confronted Sami Zayn also, like his fucking expression, like this is very funny. Like he said, like I know you'll make the right choice. Sami is like, fuck man, this guy again. You had that also. You had Jey Uso also talking to Sami Zayn like, I know whatever decision you're gonna make is gonna be like the right decision. And it jump scared people. It didn't jump scare me. Like when Jay was just standing there and the camera was lingering on him, I was sure that Logan is gonna attack him, and Logan attacked him with a punch. And also like they set up a match between Finn and JD versus War Raiders because Liv insulted him by saying that you don't have titles, go for titles. Then first of all, this match was fine, this was good, but New Day was so good in at the commentary table. Like I was distracted. They were so funny as heels. I hope they get to like show this heel side on mics and in like backstage segments, which they have not. Like they have done the usual heel promos that everyone does. I hope they do get the chance to do that. Maybe it doesn't work with their characters, maybe the WWE doesn't want them to do that, but I hope they do that. In the end, it looked like uh, Finn and JD are gonna win, but Penta shows up, and Penta like got one of the biggest pops of the night. Like be it when he attacked JD, like leading to War Raiders winning the match. I think this is probably gonna lead to New Day versus War Raiders maybe next week. I just hope that first this feud ends, and second, just do it a stipulation match, because the two New Day versus War Raiders match that have happened, one ended in disqualification because I think War Raiders attacked them with chairs. Second, they won at WrestleMania because they did shenanigans. So third one deserves to be like a no disqualification or something match, which ends these things. There are not really many, face tag teams on Raw. Like there is Viking Raiders, there is Alpha Academy, who are like essentially jobbers, and you have New Cash Republic, who lost their first match to the New Day. Talking talking about Alpha Academy, Rusev had a great vignette where essentially like they're doing the Redeemer gimmick, but doing it in a way where he's not called the Redeemer, he's calling himself the Tempest. I really liked the way that they brought back, his past. Like he said that, like I really lost my way. Once I had gold with me, but then I lost my way. So so I decided to go back to my roots. I decided to go back to Bulgaria, and I fell into an abyss, AEW, in the way, where I finally found myself. I redeemed myself. No longer am I going to fight for a woman that is not mine, referring to Lana, or for a flag which was never mine, which is the Russian flag. And he's saying that I'm going to punish, I'm going to redeem through pain every person who has not realized his potential or is not, working to the best of their abilities. And he had a killer line that, brothers, your lack of suffering is over, and it's going to be pain. So take your steps wisely, because it's going to be painful the way I'll redeem you. And this is a very good gimmick because it is essentially the Redeemer gimmick, but I think because of Russo's past history in WWE, it adds a little bit more. And also the Abyss, so this gimmick also kind of means again that it's kind of like a religious type gimmick, but not really like religious, because he's not doing the god thing anymore. Thing is, with Rusev's gimmick, you don't really need to have him in the title division. You can have him be in feuds with guys who are not having any titles, and you can have him in feuds with lower card guys also, because he can say that you're not realizing the potential. You can have him in a feud with guys like Austin Theory also. Like I'm not saying that this should be his ceiling, but till you don't have a spot for him in the mid card or the upper mid card, you can put him in these feuds, like build him up. So I'm liking that. And also like Grayson Waller is having a match next week. I don't know against who. Ludwig Kaiser is again saying that I'm going to show everyone and everything. And then we are getting Rusev versus Otis and Penta versus JD McDonough next week also. the thing is, I do think probably the US title four-way is gonna get added, and maybe Tiffany versus Naya gets added. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Tiffany versus Naya is probably gonna take place next week, and I think probably the tag match. I think probably Rhea and Io versus Roxanne and Julia is probably gonna get added to Backlash. But the thing is, this that if you add those two matches, that makes the card what, 6 matches, because you have Jay Gunther, you have the Jay Logan, you have Gunther Pat McAfee, you have Becky versus Lyra, you have John Cena versus Randy. So you add these two matches, it will probably make it a 6 match card, because I do think probably you're not gonna have the Braun and Seth versus Punk and Roman match, because first they're gonna sell that, and probably I do think they already treat Money in the Bank as like the fifth, like, big five, so they're probably gonna do that tag match there. I just don't know what are they gonna do with Seth. Meanwhile, I do think probably Jay versus Logan happens. You have Seth interfere and destroy Jay after the match, of course, and probably like his intentions are clear that he's gonna go after Jay for the world title. And I think probably when Seth beats Jay, probably at Money in the Bank, after the match he's trying to like end Jay, kind of like he tried to end Sammy here, and then you have Roman come back, but then Roman is getting beat up by all three of them, and then you have Punk come back also there. Whatever the next paper is, it is a Saudi show, I don't know. And then you set up a tag match maybe at Money in the Bank. I think that's the way you do it. And then you had, am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. You had the end, the answer. This was a really, like, Sammy is one of the last dying breeds of a true baby face. Like him like bringing up all the right thing. Him saying that you talk about, like, you're talking, like, because Seth essentially trying to like gaslight him and guilt trip him, saying that we have a connection beyond the ring, our kids know each other, like, I am giving you a choice, like, go to SmackDown, I don't want you to be a victim, I don't want you to stand in my way. And Sammy saying that I know what you're trying to do, you're trying to play games, like, you saying that if you're not with me, you're against me, like, don't stand in your way, you're threatening me. Like, my Achilles heel, that how much me not winning a world title or a WWE title like hurts me. And one day I'm gonna win that title without any interference. Like, people have been against me all my life. I'm gonna win that title. And I really like Sammy's energy here, and Seth's face also. This is the Seth that I want. Like, him like being like serious and being like be like, no, don't do this, Sammy. Like, you can see that his heart is breaking, like, he doesn't want to do this, but he's saying that you're trying to threaten me, so my answer is no, I am going to stay here, I'm not going to take anyone's help. And then you can just see Seth sighing like this, and then Braun's music hits. Like, it seemed like, do you remember like when Paul used to do this and Brock Lesnar's music used to hit? This was kind of like that, but much more dreadful. Like, Braun is going to come and destroy them. And then they had the match, which is probably their best match in like the 4 matches that they had. This is probably the best match. Like, this was designed where Braun is just walking over Sammy. I don't know why the crowd was doing the Fireflies thing. Then Sammy having a great comeback. Like, Sammy's promo was so good that they didn't really care about Sammy before, but they were doing Sammy's chants. Then you had Braun giving like 3 spears. I think the one spear I liked was on the outside. Like, Seth was doing after the second spear, like, you still have the chance to say no. Sammy says go to hell. Then Seth did like the cutthroat thing. Braun gave him a spear outside the ring. Then the match ended due to the referee stoppage, and then Seth was like in the corner, like lambasting Braun. He was like, that this, and blah blah blah. Like, he earned this and everything. And then in the end, he says, like, watch this. Like, you want to be a top guy in the business? Like, watch this. Take your first lesson. And then he like stomped his head. and then you had Seth just standing there, Braun, Paul Heyman together, and it was a great visual. It showed that choices are actions and they have consequences. It's just that they need to change Seth's music. They need, I think the visionary character is over. Like after a good while, it's like what, 4 years. Like his visionary character, I think is going to be much more serious. And another thing is you're gonna have to like put baby faces. Like Sammy has been back after a while, Kansas City. You need to put baby faces that you know that will get cheered. Like kind of like they put Randy Orton against Cena because they know that Randy is so much over that he's going to get cheered, and in St. Louis, Missouri, he's going to get cheered more than Cena. Like you need to put baby faces that you know that are gonna get cheered. Like this crowd, they booed CM Punk's mention and they were chanting OTC for Roman, but people were saying on Twitter that they booed Roman also. So they need to like put the right baby face, and I think Jey Uso is the right option because the crowd just loves eating with him. I think they may do like the one more time and everything, but you won't get like that during the matches or anything. I do think Jey is the right choice, and I hope they make that choice because you can have Jimmy involved there too. You can do things with that. But this was great. Like you can say this show was kind of carried by the Seth and Sammy stuff. But this ending segment, like this does so much for the faction, and I'm very glad with that. So that was my review. What did you think about the show? Tell me in the comments. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, is in the description, so go follow me in that. My UPI ID link, which is sharpboy@okicici, is in the description also, so go donate any amount of money which you can, which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.